Look, I'm gonna say it because maybe no one's gonna say it. I really think we were incredibly unlucky not to get at least a point from that game. I'm gonna say it that way because I think if you take the way we started that game, we were better than them until the set pieces, which of course we don't defend well. We conceded two sloppy set pieces. There's no running away from the set pieces. I'm gonna say it 10 times because I know everyone's gonna say it. The set pieces were crap. We're not good at them. We need to defend them better. That's a problem. Period. Okay? We've
Yeah.
established that the set pieces are a problem. Now let's move on to the rest of the game because there's more to the sport than just set pieces. We look at how we started in open play. In open play, I think there is no argument in how much better we were than Arsenal open play across the entirety of the 90 minutes.
Yeah.
They created absolutely nothing from open play. The only thing they created was that second goal, which should not have stood.
Yeah.
It should not. It should have been pulled back. If Saka was the one who went down, it would have been a penalty. It would have been given.
Arian, can I just interrupt 1 second, just ask, because I don't want to forget this question. Does it matter that we outplayed them? Because don't you think, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, right? But don't you think that Mikel Arteta said before the game, in the last 3 days that they've had to get ready for this, he said, I genuinely think he said, let them have the ball, sit back, play narrow, and you will score. And I don't think they will. And actually, at the end of it, sure, we got a couple of goals, but one of them was they gave it to us. And the second one was kind of a bit panicky, but I think it played exactly how Arteta wanted it to play. And he knew that basically they would score from some set pieces or at least one set piece. And therefore, he might have even been like, do you know what? It'll benefit us to not have to do all the running in this game because we've got important games to come and we've just played 4 games in 2 weeks. So I get and I appreciate that you're being really positive about how well we did, and I agree. If we were more clinical, it would have been a very different game. But for the long term, is there any hope? Do you think that Ange, say we're doing much better next season, we're closer to Arsenal, Man City, would evolve himself in a game like this and say, this is how we're going to play it to win this 3 points, and it's not going to change our overall style of play?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. First of all, I don't think that I think it's a bit silly to say Arteta goes into this game thinking, you know what, we're going to sit back and we're going to defend, and that it worked, because it really did not work. They went 1-0 up, own goal. Immediately we equalize. Porro takes a shot, and it deflects like a pinball for about what felt like 20 seconds. It was more like half a second off 2 people. But Tomiyasu plays the ball. He tries to clear it. It goes off Gabriel's head. Van de Ven is debatably offside or onside there, because I sincerely think that Gabriel's ass was playing him on. And regardless, the fact that goal does not go on and count is luck. Arsenal are lucky to have gotten an own goal, and that Van de Ven's goal did not count. Then it's not. It should be 1-1. It's still 1-0. We go ahead. We get what should have been a penalty by any letter of the law. He's going down. He's getting clipped, and it's a penalty. Not only do we not get the penalty, they counter because we have people forward. And they score again. His game plan did not work. It did not work well. They created absolutely nothing, especially coming from open play. And they ended up getting lucky. And the thing is, we've seen, as Spurs fans, we've had coaches play this way for 5 years.
Getting lucky. No, but getting lucky, you're talking about set pieces here. But if you look at, you're talking about the best team at set pieces going up against the team with the worst set pieces. And that's lucky.
I didn't say they were lucky to score the set pieces. I'm saying they were lucky not to be behind in the game.
But when? Because there was not one part where we were going to ever go. They went 1-0 up within the first 15 minutes. We didn't have a chance before they scored. So we weren't lucky, were we?
They were lucky not to be behind because we created more chances than they did. What I'm telling you is, this is exactly why I prefaced the entire thing with set pieces, because people like you on Twitter and the whole day I've been saying, but the set pieces. Yes, I know the set pieces are a problem. I'm not talking about the set pieces. I'm talking about the entire game.
They're part of the. But Arian, they are part of the game, right? So if you don't defend them, it doesn't matter what you do for the rest of the game.
Okay, see, this is exactly what I'm saying. Let's use some critical thinking skills here, because I get that the set pieces are the problem. So moving on from the game, of course they're a problem. I'm not saying they're not a problem, but I'm saying despite that, Arsenal were
but you're
incredibly
saying they're
lucky
getting
not to be
lucky.
punished regardless. They
But you're,
punished us for how bad we were at set pieces. I'm not denying that. And you can bring up set pieces until the cows come home. Because, again, I'm not disagreeing with you here. You want to sit me down and say, hey, but the set piece. Yes, I know we're shit at set pieces. I'm not talking about solely the set pieces. I am conceding the point of set pieces. I'm conceding that it's a problem. And that's absolutely fine. What I'm telling you is they scored 2 set-piece goals. They scored 1 from open play, which should not have counted. We should have had another penalty. We should have been able, our Van de Ven's goal should have counted. And on top of that, we scored 2 goals. We created more than they did over the course of the game, and we were very unlucky not to go on and win that game or at least get a point. Michael Oliver's performance from every angle was dreadful. The fact that he had to waiver VAR to give him that penalty that Ben Davies ended up getting is a ridiculous decision. And that is paired up with the fact that Tomiyasu today, 5 times he fouled. He only ended up, he didn't get a single yellow card. Arsenal had more fouls than us, and like every other game this season, especially since Liverpool, more fouls, yet we have more cards. It doesn't work that way. The refereeing performance was shambolic, and it cost us the game. Again, I will say the set pieces were horrible. We need to defend them better, and needs to manage them. The set pieces are a problem. They're a problem. They're a problem. They're a part of the game. They're a problem. I am not saying the set pieces aren't a problem. But the fact of the matter is, over the course of the game, because of what we created in open play and what was taken from us, what was sincerely taken from us, we were unlucky. We were very unlucky because also the second goal to put them 2-0 up, which I am saying again should not have counted because it was a penalty instead of an Arsenal goal. If that goal doesn't go in, the entire landscape of the game changes because Arsenal and any team in this world play differently 2-0 up than 1-0 up or level 1-1. If instead of Arsenal going 2-0 up, it is 1-1 and Spurs keep pushing on, instead of going 2-0 up, it's 1-1. Or if Van de Ven's goal counted, it was 1-1. Or if Van de Ven's goal counted and Spurs' penalty was given and it was 2-1 Spurs, do you think the landscape of the game wouldn't have changed? This is what I'm telling you. The landscape of the game
was exciting at that point. Like it would have changed the game. Of course it would. But you know, I get what you're saying, but I'm not sure. Unfortunately, that we can set. I know you're saying we're setting set pieces apart, but I'm not sure you can.
You can't. That's the issue that
you've got to take it as a whole.
I'm not saying set them apart. I'm not saying that they're not a part of the game. I'm not saying we didn't deserve to concede them. This is not what I'm talking about. But what I am talking about is you put the set pieces in. You put the goals we conceded. I'm not saying we didn't concede these goals, right? You concede these goals, and you move on. And what we did create, despite the set pieces, we conceded a set piece. We go on and score. It's taken from us. That's taken from us. We go on and get a penalty. Not only has it not been given as a penalty, they go on and score from that counterattack. If those things do not happen, and we are instead 2-1 up instead of 2-0 down, the landscape of the game changes. The way Arsenal have to defend and attack changes. The way that perhaps they might get a set piece changes. If they're instead of defending on a 6-3-1, they're attacking and they're leaving in space behind for us to exploit. And not just playing for the long balls and the set pieces. The entire landscape of the game is different. This is what I'm saying. And that would, in turn, cause the result to be different. I'm not saying that they're not a better team for a myriad of different reasons, because they are.
I'll give you this. We defend that set piece better. The whole game landscape's different anyway, right?
Right. Because the set pieces are a problem. That's what I'm also telling you, that a set piece is a problem.
So it's not luck, is it then? It's Arsenal have come to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium knowing the fact that Spurs are not good at set pieces, and that was their game plan, as Barnaby said. It's not luck.
Their game plan, okay, right. They go into the game looking for the set pieces, but this is what I'm saying. You're not listening to what I'm saying, because I'm again telling you that we need to be defending them better. Regardless of that, their game plan worked, but it would not have worked if the referee decisions were correctly made, which they were not. Yeah. That is luck.
Can I ask you about that, Arian?
Is an aspect of that.
Let's get off that then. So can I ask you then about the Kulusevski penalty that led to then Saka's goal? I asked the earlier guy, do you think that Kulusevski was a bit naive to try and stay on his feet?
I think, I think we're kind of, I don't think so. I don't think he's naive to stay on his feet. I think what we should be doing is encouraging someone to stay on their feet. Yeah. And here's my thing. I'm not convinced we get that penalty if he goes down anyway. And I don't blame him for not going down, because the trend has been, until today, Spurs average I think we still do, but just not as much. Spurs average the highest touches in the opposition box per penalty. 1,193 touches per penalty. That is a ridiculous stat. Arsenal managed 1/10 of that at 156. So I don't blame Kulusevski for trying to stay on his feet because he's thinking they're not going to give me this shit anyway, even though it's a penalty. So no, I don't think he's necessarily naive because the evidence is pointing to the fact that the referees, especially since Liverpool, do not want to give us these decisions. So I'm not going to blame Kulusevski for that. The fact of the matter is the referee should be doing his job better. And the fact that Michael Oliver needs VAR to tell him that a kick in the nuts in the box is a penalty is indicative of how the entire night went because the referee's performance was shambolic and it took the game from us.
So Arian, what do you think? What do you think then? So you've come up with two good examples there. Do you genuinely think? I'll give you two options. Is it that Michael Oliver knows that he's refereeing a big game where there's the possibility of inciting the crowd by making a bad decision, so he's purposely trying to not give penalties? Or do you think there's more to it? Are you suggesting that, there's some level of corruption and Michael Oliver didn't want Tottenham to have a penalty?
At no point am I going to... The motive is not relevant to me. Whether it's corruption or incompetence does not matter to me. The point is the decisions were wrong. I could sit here and I could accuse Michael Oliver of 1,000,001 things. I could say that they want to manufacture a title race to keep the league entertaining. I can say that they want... It doesn't matter. The point is the decisions were wrong. Whether or not that is on purpose or on accident, it is unacceptable. And they were wrong multiple times. Tomiyasu walked without a booking. There was a point that, I think it was Martinelli or Ben White, on the edge of the area, Kulusevski gets completely taken out. They dribble down, Martinelli, he gets pushed, and immediately it's a foul. And that, I was just like, are you serious at that point? Because there was two very similar challenges, but one team gets it and one team doesn't. And those little moments, especially in a game this big, as you said, when he has the responsibility like that on his shoulders, he cannot make mistakes like that consistently and repeatedly, and especially when it comes to the high-profile decisions, like the VAR decisions with Van de Ven and with... Well, Van de Ven is not up to him, but the penalty decision, those things cannot be mistakes they can make more than one time, and he's not made them just once. It's the same decisions that screwed us in the Chelsea game that completely derailed our season. Michael Oliver is not his first time being bad, just it's certainly not going to be his last. And in a game this big, this monumental for both teams' seasons, what he did today was unacceptable, despite the fact that we were poor from set pieces, despite the fact that we were our own worst enemy at times, especially from corners. The fact of the matter is, I think we did enough outside of set pieces to get the game back and to claw it back. And our efforts, which were valid and should have earned us points at a point at the minimum, those efforts, despite the set pieces, were completely taken away from us for no reason. And that's my point.